In 1972, author Martin Caden's book Cyborg was released. It was a story of speculative fiction about a secret agent with bionic limbs working for a classified government organization known as the Office of Strategic Operations, or the OSO. In 1973, the ABC television network adapted the novel into a 90-minute television movie, and The $6 Million Man was born. The movie starred actor Lee Majors as the Bionic Man Steve Austin, former test pilot, now cyborg secret agent, and it was a hit. ABC followed with 2 more TV movies that year and a series starting in 1974. In 1975, Kenner started producing the $6 Million Man toy line, and today, in honor of episode 150, we're taking a look at the Bionic Grip Steve Austin, here on Creed's Collection. Hey, and welcome to episode 150 of Creed's Collection. And in honor of this milestone, today we're taking a look at the Bionic Grip Steve Austin from the 1976 $6 Million Man toy line by Kenner. Steve Austin, astronaut, a man barely alive. After a catastrophic crash in an experimental aircraft, Dr. Rudy Wells is convinced they can save Colonel Austin with bionics, saying, "Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology. We have the capability to make the world's first bionic man. Steve Austin will be that man, better than he was before. Better, stronger, faster." After being outfitted with 2 bionic legs, a bionic arm, and a bionic eye, Steve Austin can now run over 100 miles per hour, has the arm strength of a bulldozer, and has telescopic, thermal, and night vision. After Steve recovers and comes to terms with what he now is, he becomes a secret agent for the U.S. government, using his bionic enhancements for the good of mankind. And now that we know a bit more about Steve Austin, let's take a closer look. The $6 Million Man was one of my favorite shows as a kid, and this toy did not disappoint. And I just so happen to have the original instructions here, and we're going to use these as a guide to take a look at the figure. Here at the top, you can see a couple of important safety reminders, as well as how to work the bionic right arm by turning the head and pushing the button on his back. Here's a closer look at the head, and as you can see, the head sculpt is incredible. It looks just like Lee Majors. And I also want to note that they did a good job of hiding his bionic eye. See, even though it's right here, it honestly doesn't look too different than his other eye. And that's pretty weird, because it should really stand out, and yet somehow they made it blend really well. Steve is wearing his classic red jogging suit with the $6 Million Man patch, which I think looks very classic, especially since it has the era-specific butterfly collar and deep V-neck. Before we move on, I do want to point out that the hair is also very well molded, as you can see, and I think they did a great job on just painting and sculpting this figure in general. I mean, he's a classic for a reason. Alright, now back to the instructions to show his bionic arm and skin that you can roll up to show his bionic modules. This is also where the button is to activate his bionic grip. You open the hand manually, then you roll the skin up and you push the button down right here, as you can see, and it shows that it actually snaps the hand down on the included girder. Sadly, I won't be able to show you this feature because the skin can be torn if used roughly, and mine's still intact. However, here's some images from the original commercial showing the arm being rolled back and the modules being changed. So here's the hand with the bionic grip, and here's the skin that you can roll back. As you can see, like I said, I still have mine, but I'm not going to roll it back because I'm afraid it'll disintegrate if I do so. And unfortunately, the bionic grip button's right there underneath the skin, and without rolling it back, I can't get to it, and I don't want to push it because I'm afraid it'll still split or break the skin. Here's a picture of the girder, which unfortunately I do not own, and here's a picture of him with the shirt off so you can see the skin over the arm a bit better. Here's a quick comparison of the bionic grip hand with the regular hand. The regular hand is just molded, it doesn't move, but it can swivel around. And the bionic grip hand, of course, can be opened and snapped shut, and it can also do a little bit of swivel as well. As we come down to the feet of the figure, you can see he has his original sneakers and his original tube socks. For some reason, the tube socks are pretty hard to come by. Most people don't have them anymore, so I'm really glad that I still have mine. As we come around to the back of the figure, you can see the hole for his bionic eye, as well as the button for his bionic arm. So let's go back to the instructions, and we'll start by looking at his bionic eye. As you can see, you hold the figure up to your face, and you look through the back of his head. It doesn't actually magnify anything, but it's still pretty cool. Here's a look through the back of the head, and as you can see, you just kind of look through. There's not much to it, but as a child, it's a pretty fun feature. And here you can actually see my finger through the eye, so it does function. Now also on his back is the button that controls his bionic arm, and you have to pump the button to make his arm raise. To lower the arm, you turn the head back into the forward position. And yes, this is the original warning label on the button. It has not been removed in all these years, and I'm going to leave it there because I like it. The last section of the instructions we haven't covered is how to remove his bionic arms and legs. This is another feature sadly I'm not going to show how to do because I don't feel like taking his jumpsuit off of him, nor do I feel like putting any stress on his limbs. However, I do happen to own some of the leg attachments, so one day we'll take a look at them. Alright, now it's time to take a look at the $6 Million Man's articulation, and we're going to do this very carefully, so bear with me. His ankles have an articulation point, so they can point down as well as flex back up. The knee also has a 90-degree bend, but I'm not going to do it right now because I'm afraid I'll tear the costume. It's pretty old. The hips also have a joint where it can go forward and back about 90 degrees, but again, I don't want to mess with that because I'm afraid I'll tear it. His shoulders can go out as well as up, but again, I'm being very careful with them because I'm just really afraid I'll damage him. His elbows also have a 90-degree bend. Here at the wrist, it can swivel as we already established, but it also has a joint here that allows it to flex up, and it can also flex out. Of course, his head can also turn left and right, and if you include his bionic grip, he has a total of 14 points of articulation. Not bad for a $6 million man. You know, Creed, the way inflation is these days, I'll bet I'm worth $6 billion. Yeah, you think so? Oh yeah, I'd have to be. I don't know, let's check. You can just find that out now? Oh yeah, we got the internet. Oh, okay, well, let's check. Alright, give me just a second. Yeah, according to this, you'd be worth $36 million now. 36 million? That's it? Yeah, you'd think it'd be a lot more, huh? Yeah, I thought for sure I was worth $6 billion. Well, if it makes you feel any better, the U.S. government would definitely figure out a way to spend $6 billion on you. You really think so? That makes me feel a bit better. Yeah, and to me, you're priceless. Oh, thanks, Creed. You know how to make an old toy feel good. I do what I can. The copyright information for the figure is on his lower back, Universal Studios, 1973. Before we move forward, I want to show a couple other things that were included with the figure, like this order form for a $6 Million Man t-shirt. You can see that it does have all the sizes listed here, and I just think it's funny though, like look at his expression. It looks like he's saying, I showed up for the damn photo, what do you want? And here is the Bionic Action Club, which I thought about joining, but unfortunately it expired April 1st, 1976. And here is a We Really Do Care certificate from Kenner. It's dated 1977, and I wonder if they knew what they were about to get into with Star Wars. And now for our He-Man size comparison. At 13 inches tall, Steve Austin towers over He-Man. And even though Steve Austin's a good guy, He-Man doesn't trust him, because he's already had too many run-ins with the evil cyborg, Faker. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my toy retrospective for Bionic Grip Steve Austin from the 1976 $6 Million Man toy line by Kenner. I know I really babied this toy and handled it with kid gloves during this video, but you have to understand, I love this toy. It's one of my grails of my collection, and I was really worried I'd damage it doing this video, so I'm glad to have it done. I hope you enjoyed episode number 150 of Creed's Collection, and if you did, please leave a thumbs up, and if you have any thoughts, please leave a comment. I love reading and responding to them. And while you're at it, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it, and it'd help my channel grow. I do a retrospective on a toy from my vintage collection every Wednesday, so hope to see you next week and every week after, here on Creed's Collection.